The marble plaque outside St. Michael's Memorial Hospital gleamed in the morning sun. Founded by Catherine and James Hartwell, where compassion meets excellence. Catherine Hartwell stood before it, her hand trembling as she traced her late husband's name. 3 years. 3 years since the car accident had taken James from her. 3 years since she'd poured their fortune into building this hospital, determined to honor the man who'd believed that healthcare was a human right, not a privilege. Catherine was 62, silver-haired, and wealthy beyond most people's comprehension. The hospital had cost $40 million to build. She'd personally funded scholarships for nurses, purchased state-of-the-art equipment, and ensured that no patient was ever turned away for inability to pay. James would have been proud. Or would he? Catherine clutched the folder in her hands. Anonymous letters. 3 of them in the past month, all saying the same thing. Your husband's legacy is being destroyed from the inside. The hospital he dreamed of has become a place of cruelty and greed. If you want to know the truth, see it for yourself. She'd dismissed the first letter as jealousy, the second as a disgruntled employee. But the third had included photographs, a nurse crying in a supply closet, a janitor being berated by a doctor, a patient sitting alone in a hallway, clearly in pain, ignored by passing staff. Catherine had called an emergency board meeting. The hospital administrator, Dr. Gerald Foster, had reassured her everything was fine. Anonymous complaints are common, Mrs. Hartwell, probably from someone we had to let go. The hospital is running beautifully. Patient satisfaction scores are high. But something in his smooth voice had made Catherine's instincts prickle. James had always said she could read people like books, and Dr. Foster's book had blank pages where his compassion should be. That's when Catherine made her decision. If she wanted to know the truth about her husband's hospital, she couldn't arrive as the wealthy founder. She needed to be invisible. She needed to see what happened when no one knew Catherine Hartwell was watching. Now, standing before her husband's memorial plaque, Catherine steeled herself. Tomorrow, she would return as someone else entirely. The transformation took 2 days. Catherine visited a different part of town, a hair salon that didn't know her face. She had her silver hair dyed a mousy brown and cut short. She bought reading glasses from a drugstore, thick frames that changed the shape of her face. At a discount store, she purchased polyester uniforms in drab colors, cheap sneakers that pinched her feet. She practiced changing her voice, making it softer, more hesitant. She studied the mannerisms of service workers she'd observed over the years, the way they made themselves small, avoided eye contact with authority, apologized frequently. Catherine contacted the hospital's staffing agency using a false name, Margaret Davies. She had a friend at the agency owe her a favor, someone who could arrange the placement without raising flags. Margaret Davies would start as a night shift cleaner, the lowest position in the hospital hierarchy, invisible. Her first night, Catherine barely recognized the hospital she'd built. During the day, when donors and board members visited, St. Michael's gleamed with efficiency and warmth. But at night, the veneer cracked. The night supervisor, a harried woman named Brenda, barely looked at Catherine during orientation. You'll cover floors 3 through 5. Patient rooms, hallways, nurses' stations. Bathrooms are critical. The day shift never does them properly. You have 6 hours to complete your route. Don't fall behind. Yes, ma'am, Catherine said in her new, softer voice. And stay out of everyone's way. Doctors and nurses don't want to see you. Be invisible. Got it? Catherine nodded, her heart sinking. Be invisible. In the hospital she'd built to honor her husband's belief in human dignity. The first 2 hours passed uneventfully. Catherine pushed her cleaning cart through empty hallways, mopping floors she'd once walked as the hospital's founder. The irony wasn't lost on her. She'd cut the ribbon at the entrance. Now she was scrubbing the tile. On the third floor, the cardiac unit, Catherine encountered her first doctor, Dr. Richard Brennan. She recognized him from board presentations. Brilliant cardiac surgeon, brought in from Johns Hopkins at enormous expense. 45 years old, impeccably dressed even at midnight, with the confidence of someone who'd never been told no. Catherine was cleaning the nurse's station when Dr. Brennan emerged from a patient's room, barking orders into his phone. He didn't see her, walked right into her cleaning cart. Solutions spilled across the floor. "What the hell?" Dr. Brennan spun around. "Are you blind? Look where you're putting that thing." "I'm so sorry, doctor. Let me clean." "You people are useless, completely useless." He stepped over the spill, his expensive shoes squeaking on the wet floor. "This is a hospital, not an obstacle course. Do your job without getting in the way." Catherine's hands shook as she mopped up the spill. Not from fear, but from anger. How dare he speak to anyone that way? She wanted to reveal herself right then, to tell him exactly who he was speaking to. But she forced herself to stay calm. This was just the beginning. She needed to see more. Over the next week, Catherine witnessed a pattern. Dr. Brennan treated everyone beneath his perceived station with contempt. He snapped at nurses, ignored paramedics, and spoke to cleaning staff as if they were furniture. Patients loved him. He was charming and attentive in their presence. But the moment he left their rooms, the mask fell. Catherine watched him berate a young nurse for not having his preferred coffee ready. She saw him throw a patient chart at a resident who'd made a minor error. She heard him on the phone, laughing about the morons I have to work with. But Dr. Brennan wasn't the only problem. The culture he embodied had infected the hospital. Senior staff treated junior staff poorly. Nurses who'd been there longest bullied newer ones. The hierarchy was rigid and cruel. Catherine documented everything in a small notebook she kept hidden. Times, dates, quotes. She was building a case. On her 10th night, Catherine was cleaning the break room on the 4th floor when she overheard a conversation. Dr. Brennan was talking to Dr. Foster, the hospital administrator. "The Hartwell woman is never here anymore," Dr. Brennan said. "She signs the checks and shows up for photo opportunities. She has no idea how this place really runs." "Keep it that way," Dr. Foster replied. "Catherine Hartwell is sentimental about her dead husband's legacy. As long as we maintain appearances, she'll keep funding us." "What about that patient complaint last week? The elderly man who said we left him in pain for hours?" "Handled. We told Mrs. Hartwell he was confused, probably dementia. She believed it." Catherine's blood ran cold. They were lying to her, using her grief, her trust, her husband's memory. "The beauty of it is, she built this place with no oversight mechanisms," Dr. Foster continued. "She trusted us to honor her husband's vision. That trust is very profitable." They laughed. Actually laughed. Catherine gripped her mop handle so hard her knuckles went white. She wanted to burst in, to fire them both on the spot. But something held her back. She needed more. She needed to understand how deep this rot went. The next night, Catherine was cleaning the ICU when she encountered someone different. A young nurse, maybe 28, with kind eyes and tired shoulders. Her name tag read, Elena Rodriguez, RN. Catherine was scrubbing the floor outside a patient's room when she heard crying inside. She hesitated. She wasn't supposed to enter patient rooms. But the crying continued, desperate and afraid. Catherine knocked softly and pushed the door open. An elderly woman lay in the bed, tears streaming down her face. She was pressing her call button repeatedly, but no one was coming. "Ma'am, are you all right?" Catherine asked. It hurts. It hurts so much. I've been calling for 20 minutes. No one comes. Catherine saw the pain medication chart. The next dose wasn't due for an hour. Let me find your nurse. She found Elena at the nurse's station, buried in paperwork. Excuse me, miss? The patient in 412 is in severe pain? Elena looked up, immediately concerned. Mrs. Chen? Her next dose isn't until 1 a.m. I know, but she's suffering. She's crying. Elena stood immediately. Thank you for telling me. Some people wouldn't. Catherine watched as Elena went to Mrs. Chen's room. She followed at a distance, continuing her cleaning but listening. Mrs. Chen, I know you're hurting. Let me call Dr. Brennan and see if we can adjust your medication schedule. Please don't bother the doctor. He gets so angry when we call him at night. Elena's voice was gentle but firm. You're in pain. That matters more than Dr. Brennan's sleep. Let me make the call. 5 minutes later, Elena emerged, her face tight with frustration. She saw Catherine in the hallway and, surprisingly, spoke to her. He said no. Said she needs to learn pain management isn't about being comfortable. It's about following protocols. Elena's voice cracked. She's 86 years old and recovering from surgery. She shouldn't have to suffer because of his protocols. What will you do? Catherine asked. Elena looked at her, really looked at her, as if surprised a cleaner would ask. I'll sit with her, hold her hand, talk to her. It's not medicine, but sometimes presence helps. Catherine watched Elena return to Mrs. Chen's room and pull up a chair beside the bed. For the next hour, while Catherine cleaned nearby rooms, she heard Elena's soft voice, reading to Mrs. Chen. Telling stories, singing quietly. The crying stopped. When Elena finally emerged, her shift technically over, she looked exhausted. That was kind of you, Catherine said softly. Elena smiled, surprised again. That's the job, isn't it? Caring for people. Not everyone sees it that way. No, Elena agreed sadly. Not everyone does, but my grandmother was a nurse. She taught me that this work is sacred. We're with people in their most vulnerable moments. That's a privilege, not a power trip. Over the following nights, Catherine observed Elena carefully. She saw her sneak extra warm blankets to cold patients, saw her spend her breaks helping elderly patients call their families, saw her stand up to Dr. Brennan when he tried to discharge a patient Elena felt wasn't ready. She needs another day of observation, Elena said firmly. Are you the doctor now, Nurse Rodriguez? Dr. Brennan's voice dripped with condescension. No, but I'm the one who's been monitoring her vitals all night. Her blood pressure is unstable. She needs more time. I'm the cardiac surgeon. I'll decide when she's ready. Then I'm documenting my objection in her chart. Dr. Brennan's face reddened. You want to play that game? Fine. But remember, nurses are replaceable. Cardiac surgeons are not. Elena didn't back down. Patients are irreplaceable. That's what matters. After Dr. Brennan stormed off, Catherine approached Elena. That was brave. Elena laughed bitterly. That was stupid. He'll have me fired within a month. For advocating for a patient? For making him look bad. That's the real sin around here. Elena noticed the time. I should go. My shift ended an hour ago. You stayed late for Mrs. Chen. Someone had to. Elena grabbed her bag. Take care of yourself, Margaret, and thanks for listening. Most people don't see us night shift workers. I see you, Catherine said quietly. The confrontation came 3 nights later. Catherine was cleaning the surgical wing when she heard raised voices. Dr. Brennan and Elena arguing in a supply room. You went over my head? You called Dr. Foster about my patient care decisions? I documented my concerns, which is hospital protocol. You discharged Mr. Patterson against medical advice, and he ended up back in the ER 6 hours later. He was fine. He panicked, that's all. He had a pulmonary embolism. He could have died. But he didn't, and now you've made me look incompetent to administration. Catherine moved closer, pretending to clean the hallway but listening intently. I made you look incompetent? Elena's voice rose. You did that yourself by prioritizing your surgery schedule over patient safety. The slap echoed in the hallway. Catherine froze. You don't speak to me that way, Dr. Brennan said coldly. I am a surgeon. You're a nurse. Know your place. Silence. Then Elena's voice, shaking but defiant. My place is advocating for patients. If you hit me again, I'll file charges. File whatever you want. Your word against mine. Who do you think they'll believe? Footsteps. Dr. Brennan emerged from the supply room, adjusting his coat. He saw Catherine and smirked. Good. A witness to her insubordination. You saw Nurse Rodriguez behaving erratically, didn't you? Catherine's heart pounded. This was the moment. She could reveal herself right now. But Elena emerged from the supply room, her cheek red but her head high. She looked at Catherine with desperate eyes, silently pleading. I didn't see anything, sir, Catherine heard herself say in Margaret's soft voice. I just got here. Dr. Brennan's smile widened. Of course you didn't. Get back to work. He walked away, leaving Catherine and Elena in the hallway. Elena's shoulders sagged. Why did you lie for him? Elena asked quietly. I didn't lie. I said I didn't see anything. And I didn't see him hit you. I heard it. Catherine set down her mop. But if you need a witness, I'll testify to what I heard. Elena shook her head. It won't matter. He's right. No one will believe me over him. I believe you. You're a night cleaner. No offense, but in the hospital hierarchy, we're both invisible. Elena wiped her eyes. I should report this. I know I should, but I have student loans. My mom depends on my income. If I lose this job... Catherine understood. Elena was trapped by the same economic realities that trapped millions of workers. Speak up and risk everything, or stay silent and survive. What if you had protection? Catherine asked carefully. What if someone with power knew the truth? Like who? Dr. Foster? He and Brennan are friends. The board? They care about the hospital's reputation, not what happens to nurses. Elena laughed bitterly. The only person who might care is Catherine Hartwell, and she's never here. She's off spending her dead husband's money while his hospital falls apart. The words stung, but Catherine knew they were fair. She had been absent, trusting, naive. What if I told you Catherine Hartwell does care? Catherine said quietly. Elena looked at her curiously. What do you mean? Before Catherine could answer, her pager buzzed. Something all cleaning staff carried. Emergency cleanup needed in the ER. She had to go. I have to work, but Elena, document everything, every incident with Dr. Brennan. Times, dates, witnesses. Promise me. Why? Just promise me. Elena nodded slowly. Okay, I promise. Catherine spent the rest of the night planning. She had enough. She'd seen the rot at the heart of her husband's hospital. She'd witnessed the cruelty, the abuse of power, the betrayal of everything James had believed in. Tomorrow, she would reveal herself, but not quietly. Not in a private meeting where Dr. Foster could spin the narrative. She would do it publicly, definitively, in a way that ensured real change. The next morning, Catherine called an emergency board meeting. As Margaret Davies, she'd requested the day off. As Catherine Hartwell, she told the board it was mandatory attendance. All department heads, all senior staff. 9 a.m. sharp. She arrived early, wearing one of her elegant suits, her silver hair restored to its natural color, expensive jewelry glinting. She was Catherine Hartwell again, and she carried a folder thick with evidence. Dr. Foster greeted her with his smooth smile. "Catherine, so glad you're taking an active interest again. We've missed your presence." "I've been here," Catherine said coldly. "You just didn't see me." Dr. Brennan arrived, confident and charming. He'd won awards, brought prestige to St. Michael's. He didn't know his world was about to end. Elena arrived last, required to attend as the night shift supervisor's representative. She looked exhausted, probably coming straight from her shift. Her eyes widened when she saw Catherine, confusion flickering across her face. Catherine called the meeting to order. "Thank you all for coming. I know this was short notice, but I have urgent matters to discuss about the state of this hospital." "Of course," Dr. Foster said smoothly. "We're always happy to address your concerns." "Good, because my concerns are significant." Catherine opened her folder. "For the past 2 weeks, I've been working at this hospital undercover as a night shift cleaner named Margaret Davies." The room went silent. Elena gasped softly. "I did this because I received anonymous complaints suggesting that my late husband's vision for this hospital was being corrupted. I wanted to see the truth for myself." Dr. Foster's smile froze. Dr. Brennan sat up straighter, his eyes narrowing. "What I found was deeply disturbing. I found a culture of cruelty and abuse. I found staff being mistreated, patients being neglected, and the values my husband held sacred being trampled daily." Catherine pulled out her notebook. "I documented everything. Dr. Brennan, you verbally abused staff regularly. On March 15th, you called a nurse completely useless for not having your preferred coffee. On March 18th, you threw a patient chart at a resident. On March 23rd, you struck a nurse in the supply room for questioning your medical judgment." Dr. Brennan shot to his feet. "That's a lie. I heard it. I was there." Catherine's voice was ice. "And before you claim it's my word against yours, I should mention that I've been wearing a recording device for the past week. Every conversation, every incident, all recorded." She pulled out a small device. "Including your conversation with Dr. Foster, where you both laughed about manipulating me, about using my grief and trust to run this hospital as your personal fiefdom." Dr. Foster had gone pale. "Mrs. Hartwell, surely we can discuss this privately?" "No. We discuss it here now, in front of the board. Because this isn't just about 2 corrupt administrators. This is about a systemic failure to uphold the values my husband died believing in." Catherine turned to Elena, who sat frozen in shock. "Nurse Rodriguez, please stand." Elena stood shakily. "Tell the board what Dr. Brennan did to you." "Mrs. Hartwell, I don't think—" Dr. Foster started. "She'll speak." Catherine's voice cut through the room like a blade. "Or I'll play the recording. Your choice." Elena took a breath. "Dr. Brennan struck me when I questioned his decision to discharge a patient prematurely. That patient returned to the ER 6 hours later with a pulmonary embolism." "Lies!" Dr. Brennan shouted. "She's a disgruntled employee making false accusations?" "Then explain this." Catherine played the recording. Dr. Brennan's voice, clear and cold. "You don't speak to me that way. I am a surgeon. You're a nurse. Know your place." The sound of the slap. Elena's shaking voice. The board members looked horrified. Several were whispering urgently to each other. "Mrs. Hartwell," one board member said carefully, "these are very serious allegations. We'll need to conduct an investigation. The investigation is complete. I've spent 2 weeks gathering evidence. I have testimonies from staff, recordings of abuse, documentation of medical errors covered up, proof of financial mismanagement." Catherine dropped the folder on the table. "Dr. Brennan is fired, effective immediately. Dr. Foster is fired, effective immediately. And this board will implement the reforms I'm about to outline, or I'll withdraw all funding and make these recordings public. You can't fire us, Dr. Brennan said. I have a contract. A contract that includes a morality clause. You violated it spectacularly. Catherine turned to the board. Security will escort Dr. Brennan and Dr. Foster from the building. Their access is revoked immediately. As security arrived, Dr. Brennan pointed at Elena. This is her fault! She's been poisoning you against me! No, Catherine said firmly. This is your fault. You created a culture of fear and cruelty. You violated every principle this hospital was built on, and you're done. As they were escorted out, Catherine addressed the remaining staff. I know what you're thinking, that I overreacted, that I'm being emotional. Let me be clear. What I witnessed wasn't just unprofessional. It was evil. This hospital was built in memory of a man who believed healthcare is a human right, and that every person deserves dignity. You've turned it into a place where power is abused and compassion is punished. She looked directly at Elena. But I also witnessed something beautiful. I saw a nurse who stayed late with a suffering patient, who stood up to a bully despite the risk, who embodies everything this hospital should be. Nurse Rodriguez, I'm promoting you to Director of Nursing. You'll help me rebuild this place into what it should have been from the start. Elena's jaw dropped. Mrs. Hartwell, I'm 28. I'm not qualified. You're more qualified than anyone else in this room. You understand what my husband understood? That healthcare is about people, not egos. That compassion isn't weakness. That standing up for patients is the highest calling. Catherine smiled. Will you accept? Tears streamed down Elena's face. Yes, thank you. I won't let you down. Over the following months, St. Michael's Memorial Hospital transformed. Catherine implemented sweeping reforms. She created anonymous reporting systems with real protections for whistleblowers. She established regular town halls where any staff member could voice concerns. She revised hiring practices to prioritize compassion alongside competence. Most importantly, she stayed, not as a distant benefactor, but as an active presence. She ate lunch in the cafeteria with custodial staff. She shadowed nurses on their rounds. She listened to patients and families. Elena proved to be an extraordinary director of nursing. She implemented mentorship programs, improved working conditions, and created a culture where speaking up was encouraged rather than punished. Staff satisfaction scores soared. Patient outcomes improved. The hospital began to feel like the place James had envisioned. 6 months after the confrontation, Catherine and Elena stood in the lobby, looking at the memorial plaque. Do you think he'd be proud? Elena asked. Catherine thought about her husband, his kindness, his belief in human dignity, his conviction that wealth came with responsibility. I think he'd be proud of what we're building now, not what it was. I still can't believe you went undercover as a cleaner. It was the only way to see the truth. People show you who they really are when they think no one important is watching. Catherine smiled. That's when I found you. I was just doing my job. No, you were doing it right. There's a difference. Catherine pulled out an envelope. I have something for you. Elena opened it and gasped. This is a full scholarship to the nurse practitioner program. Mrs. Hartwell, I can't accept. You can and you will. This hospital needs more leaders like you. And I'm funding scholarships for 50 other nurses too. James always said that investing in people is the best investment you can make. I don't know what to say. Say you'll keep fighting for what's right. Keep standing up for patients. Keep being the person who treats everyone with dignity, whether they're a CEO or a cleaner. Elena hugged her tightly. I promise. That evening, Catherine visited James's grave for the first time in months. She'd been avoiding it. ashamed that she'd let his dream slip away. But now she could face him. "I'm sorry I wasn't paying attention," she said to the headstone. "I was so focused on grief that I stopped doing the work. But I see clearly now. And I promise you, James, your hospital will be what you wanted. A place of healing and compassion. Not just for bodies, but for souls." The wind rustled through the cemetery trees. Catherine felt, for the first time since James's death, a sense of peace. She'd honored his memory not through buildings or plaques, but through action, through justice, through ensuring that his values lived on in how people were treated. A year later, St. Michael's Memorial Hospital received national recognition as one of the most compassionate healthcare facilities in the country. News outlets covered the story of the widow who'd gone undercover to save her husband's legacy. Catherine was interviewed by countless media outlets. They all asked the same question: "Why did you do it? Why risk your dignity, your comfort, to work as a cleaner?" Her answer was always the same. Because dignity isn't about job titles or wealth. Dignity is about how we treat each other when we think no one is watching. I needed to know if my husband's hospital honored that principle. It didn't. So I fixed it. Elena stood beside her during many of these interviews, no longer a scared night shift nurse, but a confident leader transforming healthcare culture. Together, they launched the Hartwell Foundation for Compassionate Care, funding similar reforms at hospitals across the country. But Catherine's favorite moment wasn't the awards or recognition. It was the night she returned to St. Michael's, unannounced, at 2 a.m. She walked through the quiet hallways, watching the night shift work. She saw nurses sitting with lonely patients, saw doctors treating custodial staff with respect, saw the culture she and Elena had built, one where everyone mattered, where kindness was the standard, where James's vision lived in every interaction. In the fourth-floor break room, Catherine found a group of nurses on their break. They were laughing, sharing food, supporting each other. One of them was telling a story about Elena. "She's amazing. She actually listens when we have concerns. She fought administration for better staffing ratios. She remembers our names, our kids' names, everything." Another nurse added, "She's nothing like the old management. She actually cares." Catherine smiled and slipped away unnoticed. This was what success looked like. Not her name on a building, but people treating each other with the compassion James had embodied. As Catherine left the hospital that night, she paused at the memorial plaque one more time. "We did it, James. Your legacy is safe. Not because I built a hospital, but because I found people like Elena who understand what you believed, that every person deserves to be treated with dignity. That healthcare is about healing humanity, not just bodies. That who we are when no one's watching defines who we truly are." The plaque gleamed in the moonlight, "Where compassion meets excellence." Finally, truly, that promise was being kept.